Very good evening, friends. Meeting after a big gap. Again in the session of Medica, we are learning the fourth year remedy. And in the series, today we're going to learn one more short but very important remedy in practice, that is the Sabadilla. Sabadilla is from Lily Flori, Liliaceae. It is it is nothing but it is Sabadilla. Dr. Staff, one of the student of Dr. Samuel Hahnemann, who first proved this remedy, and Hahnemann was one of the prover in that proving. So see, Hahnemann was giving importance to his students in order to develop them, that you can observe many times. In fact, when he came to the conclusion of chronic diseases also, he called Dr. Stapp and Dr. Gross to discuss the concept of chronic diseases and shared with them in 1827. This was a very important era, and this was where the giving a knowledge to the others and sharing the knowledge with others was a very important entity, which you can see over there. This fellow has proved this remedy. This remedy was known from botanical point of view. It is the seeds of Sabadilla used to be used in for the purpose of worms, ascarides. One of the remedy along with Sina, along with Spigelia, this is one of the remedies for the uh, for the worms. But when it was proved, it found to be having very strong action of respiratory tract, specifically the upper respiratory tract. I have used this remedy n number of times. Whenever it looks like very close to LMCPA, but when the modalities are opposite, patient is feeling having a hay fever associated with coryza, with lot of watering from nose or lot of lacrimation, very close to the LMCPA, but patient is aggravated by cold draft, and better by warmth, wrapping up tightly. Then Sabadilla plays the role. LMCPA things are rather different. And LMCPA, it goes, patient feels better in open air, aggravated as soon as patient enters into the warm room from the outside. The modalities are opposite to each other, but both of them are very close in presentations. And Sabadilla helps a lot whenever Alimsipa fails. Sabadilla is a very common entity. Alimsipa has a very conditional modality. So, generally, people used to use Alimsipa as a first remedy in the prescription. But my suggestion is that LMC unless and until it covers the modalities, LMC1 never works. But Sabadilla is a good remedy to be considered. Specifically, such types of hay fevers are there with coryza, with watering from the nose, then cough, all those things. Very commonly, I have used this remedy only for that conditions, and it is a very acute in action. Its action remains to be there for 20 to 30 days. The sepia is complementary to the Sabadilla. And I have used that whenever patient felt better with the Sabadilla, I used to give a complementary sepia, and many times it covers the whole story. I have used Sabadilla in 30 and 200 potencies, not more than that any time. So let us open Allen's keynotes and let's see what he says about this. It is Sabadilla, Liliaceae. Dr. Stapp was the first prover. Hahnemann was one of the proving person. Suited to the persons of light hair, fair complexion with weak and relaxed muscular system. So this is very important. Fair complexion, that is the constitution mentioned over there, where relaxed muscular system is there. It looks like calcarea like constitution. Worm affections of the children, Sina, Cilicia, Spigelia. Nervous diseases, twitching, convulsive trembling, catalepsy from worms. So Sina is also having convulsions from worms, sorinum. This is one more remedy where catalepsy. Catalepsy means it's a seizure with loss of sensation and consciousness, accompanied by rigidity of the body. That is what is called as a catalepsy. And this is one of the important remedy when it is from the worms. Always think of the Sabadilla. Very important action on nervous system. There are illusions. What are the illusions? That he is sick, that the parts are shrunken, illusion that she is pregnant when merely distended from the fetus, illusion that she has become horrible throat, she has some horrible throat disease and that will be fatal. So see, many illusions which you used to find it out with this Sabadilla many times. Delirium during intermittent. So during intermittent fever like podophyllum, this remedy is very important remedy for delirious states. Now the nasal complaints, and nasal complaints are very, very important. Sneezing in spasmodic paroxysms followed by lacrimation. There is copious watery coryza. Face is hot and eyelids are red and burning. So it looks euprasia, elimsipa like picture over there. It has very strong action in throat, producing diphtheria, tonsillitis, can swallow the warm food more easily. Stitches and most symptoms, especially of the throat, go from left to right like lachesis. It is very important, like lachesis, it goes from left to right. And in Lachian, the modality is rather different. It goes from one side to another and again to the first side. That is shifting from one side to another side and again on the first side. This type of shifting is there in Lachian. Sensation of skin hanging loosely in throat, must swallow over it. Headache from too much thinking, too close application or attention, like argentum nitricum, thinking aggravates the complaints. Headache from worms, very important feature which he has mentioned. Headache from worms, worms produces the headache, very important, one should not forget. Dryness of fauces and throat, parchment like dryness of the skin, parchment, patravali, that is very dry leaves. That typical parchment like dryness of the skin is there. Relationship, compare colocin, colchicum, lycopodium, where aggravation is from 4 to 8 pm. This is one more remedy where you get the same modality. Pulsatilla and Sabadilla better in open air, Sabadilla never. Follows Bryonia and Ranunculus bulbosus well in pleurisy and cured after the aconite and Bryonia failed. Just add in your Matramatica, complementary is sepia, and action is 20 to 30 days. Yes, Sabadilla is a very, very important remedy for lice infestations. Definitely. Worms, lice, that I forgot to tell you, but that is, yes, Chandrasekhar sir has added that, and that is a real, very important remedy for lice infestations. Catalepsy and epilepsy. Epilepsy is the diagnosis which we used to use whenever the epileptiform convulsions are there. Here in catalepsy, it is a condition where specifically it is a seizure with loss of sensation also there and consciousness, and followed by the rigidity of the body. So epilepsy is one of the manifestation, catalepsy is a manifestation of an epilepsy. It varies from individual to individual. So Sabadilla, you get that because of worms like Sina, and this is very important remedy for acute rhinitis, acute pharyngitis, and associated with typical modalities aggravated by cold drinks, aggravated by colds, better by very warm drinks, warm application, wrapping up tightly. This is very, very important entity which one should not forget. So common day-to-day remedy is Sabadilla. Tomorrow we'll meet with one more such a remedy which will be useful in our practice. Topically as well as orally you can use, that is both the things, but oral is always better. Okay. So that's all for today. Thank you and good evening.